Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. It's entitled Finally Boosting Business Cases for DX, How Manufacturers Approach the Next Normal with Digital Industrial Platforms and Collaboration Strategies. I'd like to introduce my colleagues who will be talking on the call. It's Stephanie Naujok, the Research Director, and Jan Burian, Senior Research Director for IDC Manufacturing Insights. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. If you want to submit a question, there's a box on the screen that you'll see just on the left-hand side where you can submit questions, which we'll try and take at the end. And also a short survey will trigger when you leave the webcast after you've heard the content. And we'd be grateful if you could fill some of that in for us. Anyway, without further ado, I'd like to hand over now to Jan. Jan.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks. And hi, everyone. And we have a very nice sunny afternoon, at least here in Prague, in Czech Republic. And so let me just jump into the first line to the agenda. So in today's webcast, we will share with you our insights about how digital transformation will shift from the enterprise to the ecosystem, and also how ecosystem collaboration strategies support manufacturers in what IDC calls the next normal. We will share our recommendations for manufacturing executives on how to incorporate ecosystem collaboration strategies in their business strategy, and we'll also give a brief overview on what IDC calls or what IDC can do for you. So let's jump right into the how ecosystem collaboration strategies support manufacturers in preparing for the next normal. We will also quickly look into what we consider the next normal as being about. At IDC, we use 5 stages of enterprise recovery, as you can see, which describe the path of enterprises from the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis all the way to becoming a future enterprise. And that's about being well prepared and all set for what we will call or will be called the next normal. And along this path or journey, we could call it a journey as well, we actually see different measures along these different stages of recovery being taken, starting from the companies having taken measures to immediately respond to the crisis. They focus on business continuity at the peak of the corona crisis. And of course, there are many examples you can see. Most of them are addressing the health and safety measures to ensure to keep employees and workers safe, such as social distancing or work from home concepts, which is, by the way, very much actual during these days again, unfortunately. All right. Then in the next phase, where the economy will be facing an economic slowdown, many companies will be in a cost optimization mode. And in the face of recession, where the revenues are expected to be declining, of course, and companies will be focusing on building business resiliency to ensure the ability to continue operations despite potential further disruptions or another impacts, right, that might hit the business negatively. Then, when returning to growth again, organizations will look into targeted investment, hopefully, but we believe that because we have this the news from the market or that message from the market, right? And that there's a future enterprise and companies will be able to stabilize business in the next normal. So they believe that, or we believe that there will be not just like such events like a pandemic, but also there will come a lot of unexpected events in the future, of course, just as could be a trade wars, could be environmental impacts, whatever, or disruptions, but these definitely have an impact on a company's businesses and production operations on an ongoing basis. So basically, the future enterprise is all about being able to succeed in the next normal. And the key themes that companies will be working towards to achieve this are about increasing the operational resilience, agility, and efficiency. Then increasing the customer experience, which is about engaging with customers in much more focused and comprehensive way than companies did in the past. That's why we use the term high-value customer experience. And in order to deliver high-value customer experience and also to improve operational efficiency and resiliency, we expect to see much closer and more integrated collaboration in ecosystems. So, you know IDC, so of course you expect some survey results. So, from one of our recent COVID-19 impact survey, you can see that, which by the way was conducted this August. So you can see that the majority of companies are in a cost optimization phase, and this applies in particular for manufacturing companies. But not to forget, there are still quite some companies in phase where keeping business up and running and where they need to be taken actions to ensure overall business continuity is still high. So good news is also that there are minority of the companies, but some of them, they see themselves as they are returning to growth. So, but currently, it's clear all about the costs, right? So we all can see a number of examples of manufacturing companies announcing the cost-cutting plans, in particular in automotive, and for example, also in the aircraft industry, right? And also, our recent conversation with manufacturing companies clearly showed that it's currently all about the cost, right? So we see that the initiatives like cutting jobs, or personal costs, or reducing investments, mostly of course in a hardware area, in the asset or production assets, but not that much into the, let's say, the digital tools, right, or digital solutions. That's what we can discuss here on this slide, because recent results of our ongoing COVID-19 impact survey also show that manufacturers are already preparing for the next phases on their road to recovery, and that they continue thinking about investments related to the digital transformation. Also, what is quite interesting is that despite COVID-19, the companies think quite positive about investments related to digital transformation. So actually, around 47–50% of manufacturing companies in EMEA will invest in technology to close the gap in their digital transformation. There's in fact a confirmed link between IT investment in digital and business results. This is shown quite nicely by our Global Performance Index analysis, which tracks growth metrics from over 800 publicly traded global firms in manufacturing and retail. And this shows that those companies that invest in digital initiatives outperform those companies they don't involve in the revenues and the profit. So basically, this is a positive impact on digital manufacturing on business performance KPIs. So we actually believe that COVID-19 accelerates the digital transformation, as you can see in this cartoon, right? So that was a really COVID-19 was really a trigger for many companies to start taking the digital transformation, digitization in a very serious way. And despite the acceleration of digital transformation of enterprise operations, we increasingly see a shift from enterprise to system. And with this, I'm handing over to my colleague, Stephanie Naujoks.
Yes, thank you, Jan. And definitely yes, in terms of digital transformation efforts of manufacturers, we do see a shift from the enterprise to the ecosystem. And this is something we hear about in our conversations with manufacturers, but which also is bolstered by the survey results of our COVID-19 impact surveys. So, for example, in April, our survey showed that as a result of COVID-19, 37% of manufacturing customers are rethinking how they work with ecosystem partners, and this in fact seems to be a topic that in particular is concerning manufacturing companies, as across all industries, this share is only 28%. And also, a following survey in May showed that 37% of manufacturers are thinking about business models will likely need to be permanently extended to include new ecosystems. Again, this in particular applies for manufacturing companies. So definitely working in ecosystems and embracing ecosystems in their business strategy has gained quite some traction for manufacturers. And therefore, IDC has developed a framework for the various ecosystem engagement models, as collaboration in ecosystems can have many, many different phases. And we came up with 4 main engagement models we currently see in the market. And that's the information exchange model, which is very much about sharing and exchanging data among stakeholders in an ecosystem. Then there's what we call the shared application model, which is basically about IoT platforms that provide manufacturing companies with applications that can be used to solve similar industry-specific challenges, such as applications that, for example, provide dashboards for remote asset monitoring. Then another engagement model is basically about manufacturers collaboratively engaging in various initiatives. And these can either relate to Industry 4.0 process innovations, or it can also be about jointly developing products or services in order to increase customer value of a product. And then we see marketplace models, which are all about facilitating and promoting commercial transactions. And all of those various engagement models actually support manufacturers on their journey towards the next normal. So they all support the key themes of manufacturers in one or the other way. And in the following, we will show how. So in collaboration models, manufacturers are basically collaboratively engaging in various initiatives. And examples in this space are what we have seen, for example, in the UK, which is the Ventilator Challenge UK, where a lot of manufacturing companies came together and organized themselves super fast and efficiently to help produce large numbers of ventilators. Or another actually very established initiative is the Industrial Internet Consortium, which has a goal to identify and develop best practices around the industrial internet. And then there are initiatives such as the Smart Factory or the Open Industry 4.0 Alliance or the Open Manufacturing Platform, all driven out of Germany. And sorry for being Germany-centric here, but I really think it's worthwhile to mention these initiatives here. So the Open Industry 4.0 Alliance has the goal to accelerate the development of Industry 4.0 solutions by supporting common standards. The Smart Factory initiative is about jointly implementing Industry 4.0 solutions and has members such as Festo, Harting, Pils, but also Pro Alpha and IBM. And actually another quite recent example is BMW's Open Manufacturing Platform, which is about establishing an open industrial IoT platform in order to accelerate production and logistics optimization efforts. And we actually have published a report about this initiative, so if anyone is interested in our view on that, just drop us a line. And manufacturers are joining such initiatives because they hope that this enables them to speed up the development of new innovative industrial solutions and to make them more robust if tested in a broader context. And they also hope to potentially benefit from knowledge exchange and the utilization of a joint pool of talents. However, the challenge related to a participation in such collaborative models is that there often is an unclear return on investment for the time spent and resources involved. And there are actually a number of initiatives out there where manufacturers really have to prioritize on which initiative is worth joining and which brings the most benefits. And the trend we see here is that manufacturers really aim to scale innovations in the Industry 4.0 context, meaning to speed up the rollout of smart manufacturing solutions in their factories and plants. And this is because there are still quite a lot of POCs out there in the factories that have not been able to scale yet. And further trends we see include open source or the development and adoption of industry standards, such as around common data models. Marketplace models. So the main purpose of those basically is to bring together demand and supply side players to discover or promote, purchase, or even partner for specific manufacturing products or related services. And typically this happens via cloud-based platform and marketplaces. And reasons why manufacturers participate in those are that leveraging such platforms potentially help to increase the efficiency of B2B procurement or B2B sales operations, and not to forget about the network effect through referrals or ratings. And for sure, B2B marketplaces are not really something super new, but we see quite some interesting trends here. And one is that B2B marketplaces are increasingly serving the very specific needs of very specialized manufacturing subsectors, such as steel or recovered paper or timber. And the examples we picked here are actually examples of marketplaces that address some of those really industry-specific domains, such as metals, timber, or recovered paper. And another trend we see here is that marketplaces are increasingly adding data analytics or artificial intelligence capabilities to enable customers to make better data-driven decisions. And another trend is that marketplaces are adding value-added services such as quality management services, thereby helping their customers increasing the efficiency of quality control processes for source products or components. And actually, if we look at the different areas of participation in B2B marketplaces, then what these recent survey results show is that roughly a third of manufacturers in EMEA are already participating in all sorts of networks and also plan to do so in the future. And what is in particular interesting to see here is that B2B marketplaces have progressed beyond the traditional procurement networks to also include, for example, service networks, engineering, and PLM. And PLM or engineering networks can, for example, include platforms to support collaborative innovation, or B2B marketplaces for engineering services or for sourcing of 3D printing services. And looking at shared application models, the main purpose is about sharing custom-built applications for specific purposes. And typically, participants are making use of custom-built applications that have already been developed for specific purposes by other participants in an ecosystem. And typically, applications shared in such ecosystems help to address common challenge within an ecosystem or an industry domain. And applications are provided via cloud-based platforms or app marketplaces, and typical examples of such platforms are industrial IoT platforms, right? And there exist numerous examples out there, in fact, but I've listed just some very industry domain-specific ones, like VW's, so Volkswagen's industrial cloud, which is a quite interesting but yet ambitious project in the automotive industry. Then there is Airbus's Skywise platform for the aviation industry, and also a German industrial IoT initiative called Adamos, which targets the medium-sized manufacturing segment. And manufacturers participate in such engagement models because they are hoping to benefit from existing applications that might help to address some of their challenges without the need to reinvent any solutions, right? And however, the main challenge here is that the attractiveness of such industrial platforms depend from the availability of applications in an app store or an app marketplace, and the availability again of apps depends on the availability of developer tools and the ease of developing apps. And trends we see here are, for example, that low-code, no-code application development capabilities are added to such platforms in order to enable and foster application development. And there are also increasingly added capabilities around data analytics and AI again to turn data basically into actionable insights. And most importantly, in order to improve operational performance of shop floor operations, IT/OT convergence plays an increasingly important role and will also drive shared application models. And this has also been confirmed, by the way, by a recent survey from our IT/OT convergence practice, where 39% of manufacturing companies worldwide have stated that they will invest in IT/OT integration in order to improve operational performance and thereby improving throughput. And then finally, looking at information exchange models. The main purpose here is about data sharing. And examples are the Caruso database or Autonomo, which are data exchange platforms for the automotive industry. And another example is the International Databases Association, which aims at actually defining data standards and data governance frameworks for collaborative data sharing environments in ecosystems. And typically in information exchange models, access and coordination mechanisms are in place and also, of course, need to comply with GDPR. And we can see all sorts of data exchange models. They can either be free of charge or subject to a fee. And reasons to participate in such information exchange models are that participants can turn data from other participants into information that enables them to generate value from it. And this can be either to improve efficiency of own operations, but it can also be about being able to offer data-driven services or business models based on data from the ecosystem, thereby potentially even developing new revenue streams. However, currently we also see that there is a lack of mindset really around data sharing in ecosystems, and especially thinking about companies that are not from automotive, which is an industry which is actually already quite into this, but with other industries clearly lagging behind a bit. And moreover, what makes this information exchange model challenging is that there clearly are concerns related to security, IP protection, and data governance. And what is also a major challenge is the lack of common data models across ecosystems. And trends we see for information exchange models are that providers of data exchange platforms are adding capabilities, again, also around data analytics and AI, and also to improve quality of data, and such as data cleansing, which is a major topic for these platforms. And we also expect that there will be more industry-specific use cases for data exchange models in ecosystems, and that go beyond the automotive industry. Because actually exchanging data in an ecosystem to build business cases for data-driven services can also be a topic in industries such as medical equipment, aviation, trains, or construction equipment. And another topic can also be to merge data from connected products with other data sources, such as pricing data from spare parts pricing databases, or merging this data with data from with open data from the public sector. And that information exchange models matter is underpinned by this survey result, which shows that 42% of manufacturing companies have prioritized data capitalization and monetization actually to achieve their digital transformation vision, meaning that manufacturers increasingly are embracing the value of data. And this will certainly also include data exchange in ecosystems. So what are our key takeaways from what you've just heard? This is, first of all, that ecosystem collaboration strategies and digital platforms support the three key themes of manufacturers on their journey towards becoming prepared for the next normal. And why, again, are they engaging in ecosystem collaboration? And drivers and benefits are related to the need to scale innovations faster, improving shop floor operations, increasing B2B process efficiency, thereby also, for example, increasing resilience of supply chain operations, increasing customer experience and customer value. Then it's also about data capitalization and monetization, as well as about enabling new business models. And there are challenges or hurdles to overcome still when it comes to ecosystem collaboration, and these are, for example, a lack of collaborative mindset and culture within the companies, and there certainly exists security and IP concerns around data sharing, and there might be a lack of critical mass of participants in order to participate from network effects. So actually, to answer the question or questions of this webinar: what are the roles of digital industrial platforms and collaboration strategies in the next normal? And all of these different engagement models support manufacturers on their journey towards the next normal in different ways. That's first, collaboration with peers and partners can help manufacturers to scale Industry 4.0 solutions or Industry 4.0 innovations faster. Second, engaging in B2B marketplaces can make supply chain operations of manufacturers more resilient and B2B transactions more efficient. Third, utilizing applications from industry-specific digital industrial platforms can help to improve performance of shop floor operations. And fourth, leveraging data from the ecosystem can enable manufacturers to develop data-driven services and business models and to increase efficiency of operations. And this summary also shows quite nicely that ecosystem strategies really support the current key themes of manufacturing companies today. And we actually believe that ecosystem collaboration strategies are boosting business cases for DX. And this is because in the past, many manufacturing companies were reporting that they cannot build business cases around digital transformation initiatives, which makes it difficult to get approval for investments. But compared to the situation, for example, 2 years ago, we observed that manufacturers are increasingly collaborating within their ecosystem of suppliers, customers, or partners to achieve all sorts of benefits. And as we have outlined before, there are numerous examples of what benefits collaborative approaches can bring. So from our perspective, given the benefits resulting from ecosystem collaboration, this will definitely help manufacturers to also boost business cases for digital transformation, as there are potentially numerous ways now to help achieve an ROI. And what is our call to action for manufacturing executives? And this is, first of all, align your business strategy with the potential that lies in ecosystem collaboration. So even your competitors can become partners in some areas. Then start to create a cultural mindset in your organization that embraces ecosystem collaboration as a value add rather than competition only. And consider participating in existing ecosystems, but don't be afraid to be the driver of a new ecosystem if this is fundamental for your business strategy. And embrace a customer-centric approach in order to pursue a strategy that includes ecosystem collaboration and collaborate with those ecosystem stakeholders that increase the value for your customers. And finally, in order to make ecosystem collaboration work, some fundamentals are the most challenging parts to consider. So think about trust, IP protection, people and change management. But whatever you do, never forget about the ROI. And what is important to keep in mind is that collaboration beyond manufacturing borders will be fundamental for a long-term business success. And our IDC practice, Future of Industry, came up with these two predictions, which I also wanted to share with you. And these predict that by 2025, 20% of revenue growth will come from white spaces that combine digital services from previously unlinked industries. And by 2025, 20% of one's partners will be from industry they have never partnered with before. And I'm closing this presentation with a quote from Gary Hamel because I couldn't express better how important it will be for manufacturers to always think about what increases the value of a product for your customers. And this in the future will also mean to further increase collaboration with ecosystem stakeholders. And with that, I'm handing over again to you, Jan.
Thank you, Stephanie. I mean, I'm always surprised, how much is going on in the area of business collaboration ecosystems. And one thing is, of course, the strategy and the entire ecosystem or activities. Another one is, or another angle is how these initiatives are, let's say, supported by different types of technology, right? So, You mentioned that the IoT platform, the collaboration platforms, the IoT, the 5G. I'd say, I mean, it's really interesting area. So, but before we jump into the Q&A, please let me share some information about IDC, or what IDC/Manufacturing Insights here in EMEA can do for you. All right. So, as you see, we focus on both sides. So, technology vendors and the end users as well. So we are helping the companies to, let's say, to understand the technology and the whole digital transformation ecosystem, right? So you see that's thought leadership and the insights. So we provide the latest market trends and dynamics, and especially for the technology suppliers, we look at the portfolio strategy. We're helping with identification of business opportunities, and the last one, go-to-market area. That's what I personally find very interesting, because of course this is the area where we could converge or merge our end user experience and our vendor experience, and really helping, and we are able to help the tech suppliers with their sales enablement strategies and go to market. When it comes to the research, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with our research programs. So in Manufacturing Insights, we have 3 research programs. One is the worldwide smart manufacturing. Second one is called a digital transformation strategies, and the third one, which is Stephanie, the lead analyst of is the business ecosystem strategies in manufacturing, which is also the worldwide program. So we publish a lot of interesting reports addressing the topics like digital trends, digital transformation, IT/OT convergence as well. By the way, we also have a IT/OT convergence practice, or it could be also considered as a future operations practice. Right? So you're more than welcome. If you would like to get more information, just reach us, and we can have a conversation around that. So, and now we are jumping into the Q&A session, right? And we have here the first question already. So maybe I start with that. Do you see combination of ecosystem types? Let's say collaboration with marketplace, for example. That's a question from Sean Ennis from Siemens. Stephanie, do you have the answer for us?
Still thinking about an answer for Sean. So yes, theoretically, sure, yes, but from the top of my mind, I can't think of a concrete example. So my answer would be theoretically yes, but really, right from the top of my head, I don't know an example right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That we see rather let's say the silent approach when it comes to the collaboration types, right? Or it could be also the output could be that, for example, there's the collaboration on, say, new product development, right? But then, of course, when it comes to the marketplace, it's a different story, right? Or what we can see is when we speaking of marketplaces, right? So what I personally really like is the quote to order platform or platforms. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with this type of it's not directly the marketplace, right? But it's really the tool helping manufacturers to make their supply chain more resilient using this type of technology, mostly based or built on cloud platform, right? So that's that's also a very, very interesting area to look at. Okay, do we have any other questions then? If not, directly, I might share with you my experience, because I mean we are always being asked about the current situation. We already talked about the cost-cutting initiatives, and if there's some link between the ecosystems and between ecosystem collaborations and the cost savings initiatives, right? So that's the question, or if this type of collaboration could help to save the costs to the manufacturing organizations, right? And of course the answer is obviously yes. That we haven't touched that KPIs that much, like go-to-market or saving the R&D costs, or really or reducing the supply chain risks. But that these all parameters or KPIs have significant impact on the performance of the manufacturing organization. So, any other question? Matt, do you have some?
I mean, if there aren't any further questions, I mean, we are happy to engage with you directly. Drop us an email, and we'll be happy to have direct conversations with you to explore one or the other topics. We will be, in fact, very interested in learning your view on the topic. So there is a lot of potential, right, that lies in ecosystem collaboration, and we think in particular there is a lot of potential for IT providers, actually, or CNSI providers, so consulting and service providers, to help manufacturers to enter this subject. Basically, just think about what I personally find very interesting is sharing data in ecosystems. There's so much potential, right? Not only for improving own operations, leveraging data from the ecosystems, but also to develop new business models. So that's super interesting. But I also see that manufacturers will need a lot of help and guidance on what is possible, and to help manufacturing companies to identify the potential that lies in data, and not only data from the own domain, which is kind of easy, but also what adds to that value really is leveraging data from the ecosystem. And this is a super new topic with a lot of potential, where, as I said, manufacturers will need support. So if IT providers or especially services providers or consulting and system integration providers, they should definitely be prepared to have conversations with their manufacturers, as we do see a lot of opportunities in that space. So again, very interested in getting your feedback here and how you see that. Sorry, Jan.
Okay. I definitely agree. And also, the big question is the orchestration of the ecosystems, right? So who's driving, or who's going to drive the collaboration, right? Who's be a driver, and who's be just like collaborating that. But as Stephanie already mentioned at the quote, talking about Gary Hammer's quote, right? So it doesn't really matter where you are in the ecosystem. It depends on the value you're able to create, and on the cost that creating that value costs you. Then. Okay, good. So
exactly. Yeah. So I would say thank you very much, right, Jan? From our end.
Yep.
And happy to engage with you, and drop us a line if you. So we would look forward to having conversations with you. Yeah.